Hello, beloved souls. Mm, Welcome to Thursday. You're live here with me, being Omni, with this I Am Hillis segment. And I hope you guys can see me. Hope you guys can, hope everything is all connected and working properly. I am in a different setting than I'm usually am. So let's get into it for today. So today I want to share with you how I got here. How did I get from, being a poet to a healer? How do I get from my living, my growing up actually as in a religious space to spirituality? How did I get from there to here? It's a very interesting story. And good evening, Deborah. I'm glad you could be here. And while you guys are watching this, if you have any questions about this journey that I'm going to share with you this evening, you're more than welcome to put that in the chat. And again, welcome to Being Omni Live with me. So, how did I get in this space of being spiritual? Like all of us, we all have a beginning. We all are influenced by our parents. We're influenced by our upbringings. We're influenced by our environment and surroundings, right? We get in this space and we are only shown or we only proceed with what we do or what we see and what we know. So as children, the influence of our parents guides us so much. Because as a child, I went to a Catholic school and went to a Baptist church. So you are talking about one who has been conflicted and confused about what religious or religion is and how we move about it in our day-to-day life. Growing up in this household, where, black family being raised by three women, my mom, my aunt, and grandma. You have to understand that, my grandma being from the South, Baptist raised, ruled the house with the iron fist. But my mom and my aunt grew up, went to school, went to a Catholic school. So it's only fitting that I went to a Catholic school also. So with me going to a Catholic school, going through the school, going to see nuns and priests every single day. And oddly enough, this was the weirdest thing for me. I never understood it. Even to this day, I don't understand that I had to attend a church sermon for my Catholic school once a month. And it was part of my grade, especially when I got into grammar, when I got into junior high and, like sixth, seventh, eighth grade. Especially then, because that counted as my grade. I'm like, why does me going to church count as my grade? What's the logic? What's the reasoning behind that? Until this day, I still don't understand it. Maybe it's not meant for me to understand. It is what it is. But the juxtaposition, the very wide ranging dynamic, because typically I would go to a Baptist church on Sundays. I would go there, praise, see all the people catch the Holy Ghost, see all the choirs singing. That was actually my favorite part was the choirs singing. Oh my goodness, Baptist church choirs are like the best. Anyway, uh, and as I moved through this space of understanding what religion is, understanding Jesus and Jesus' story and how Jesus became Jesus and how God and all of this. We all know the religious texts. We all know the story. And seeing this for 3 or 4 Sundays a month, there's this praise, if you will, this joy and then going to a Catholic church where it's more solemn, more ritualistic. It's in the space of, well, this is how we do. And the same story, the same way, same story about Jesus there as it is at the Baptist church. Same story. And it didn't really hit me until I got older that there are two different religions, two different paths of praise and worship, but they're telling the same story. And each religion is telling the same story, but in a different way where it suits their people, suits their culture. And coming to understand that religion is more of a cultural dogma. It's more of that cultural centralism that whatever your culture is, that's the religion you practice. And it's this space, this container where you held this energy, this sacred space, if you will, if that's what you want to call it. And for the sake of tonight, let's call it, sacred container. I use that word frequently. You may hear that a lot tonight. But as I moved through this, I began to understand what religion really was. It's just this holding space, this pattern, these teachings that seemed unreachable, that seemed unobtainable. And in my mind, I'm like, how can I be like this man that they're, preaching about, that they're talking about? How can I be like this? How can I allow myself to open up and receive this wisdom, that's being preached from the pulpit, that is being expressed to this congregation? And it was taught to me that it's unattainable. You can't be that. That's not who you are. And it really struck me, especially in my adult life, going to church, that I can't be that. I can't be this man. I can't be this deity, because that's how they made Jesus out to be, a deity, a man that did the unthinkable, the unreachable. But you dare not reach that. You can't reach that because you're just human. Well, wasn't Jesus human? Was he? Wasn't he? Someone answer. Someone tell me. Someone tell me, is this true? And so by the time I reached of age to move out on my own, one of the things that my mom told me was that she never baptized me. She never got me baptized. And that's the thing that you never do, especially in the Black community. You never have an unbaptized child. But my mom didn't believe in it. My mom believed that I should make my own choices, make my own way, my own path. And so I honored her decision. I trusted her to trust me. And I trusted myself. And I'm like, okay, well, if I was never baptized, then does that make me a sinner? No, because I'm a good person. I know I'm good. I've probably done some bad things, terrible things. We all have. But does that make me a sinner? Was I a sinner because my mom never baptized me? All these thoughts are running in my head after she told me this. And then I realized, I'm like, well, she wanted me to make my own choices, wanted me to find out what was best for me because my mom didn't have a choice. My grandmother baptized her, made her go to Catholic school. My grandmother ran my mom's life. And sorry, just a bit overwhelmed because it'll be 11 years. And today's the 11th. Oh my goodness. It'll be 11 years this August that my mom passed. And it'll be 11 years. Uh, Actually, it was 11 years that since my aunt's passed, too. Wow. Today's the 11th. So, anyway, moving forward, as I realized my mom has given me the keys to making this important life decision. And I made it. At the age of 20, I started going to an apostolic church. And I believe I went 3 or 4 times. And it's like, this is the church. This is the church for me. I love these people. It's almost like going to Baptist church. It's like it's a church full of black people, and I'm dancing. I'm, just all in it, right? Just all in it. And I chose to get baptized at this church. And I'm like, wait, so I'm not a sinner anymore. I can do these things that Jesus can do. I can do all these things. At least that was in my head. That was the story I was telling myself. And then the day came where everything changed. Where everything changed. It was about a year, maybe close to a year, and me going to this church. The pastor was on vacation. His son stepped in, and he had an anti-gay sermon. And I didn't want to be rude, so I waited until the service was done. I walked out, never, ever went back to church for any reason. Well, section of me going to go see my dad in Chicago. But I go do that because I want to spend time with him. I want to be with my dad. That's completely different and separate. But personally, after then, I was done with religion. I was done with the church, minus spending time with my dad, which is important to me. But I'm done. No more. And because it showed me that religion was not all inclusive. They were not preaching the way that I learned Jesus to be, and which was this all inclusive, open person with these quote unquote abilities, these gifts, as they called it, that Jesus did this and Jesus did that, and you can't do that. And so I began to question everything. And mind you, I was only 20, probably going on 21 years old at the time. And I was done because I questioned my faith. I questioned the faith of others. I questioned everything, questioned it all. And so in my time of questioning, I turned to the bars. I started going out to the clubs. And it wasn't in the manner which most people think. For me, the bar, the club, became my church. In essence, because I would go there, and those that know me personally who may see this knows I'm a dancer. I love to dance. It's very cathartic for me in the space of letting go of what no longer serves me. I've always danced. People have affectionately called me the Energizer Bunny because I would be at the club at 10 o'clock when the doors open, and I would be one of the last ones to leave because in me, understanding what Jesus is versus what they say he is and what I am was learning to be and to know and to understand this process, it helped me to process a lot of wisdom, a lot of information, a lot of things that were going on in my life. So how can I be a black gay man going to church when the preacher's son doesn't like black people or gay people? Sorry. How can I be in this congregation where it's anti-gay, and how can I be a part of anything that doesn't feel good in my heart or my soul? How can I feel good about any of that? How can I feel good about what is truly representative of my space and my being? And so, being a kid turning just about 21, you hear the old cliche, you sin on Saturday, you praise on Sunday. And that was so true because there were times I would see, and now mind you, there were sometimes I did go to a bar, underage, and I would see some of the people that was at the bar Saturday night go to church on Sunday. Say, you all are all sinners. How dare you call me out for my sexuality when all of you all are doing the exact same thing? So I questioned all of this. You know, everything from me not fitting in with the congregation because of my sexuality, all these people lying to themselves, conflicting with themselves about who and what they are and what they did, their actions. Their actions spoke louder than anything else. And their words reverberated into the actions that they conducted. And so, with the club becoming my church, poetry becoming my word, my gospel, my life. Because poetry is my gospel. If anyone could read my poetry, any of my books, it's my gospel, it's my life. You know, I stand by what I write because it's, here, it's from me. You know, as I sit and feel and ponder into this, and you guys are more than welcome to ask questions about anything. Nothing's off limits. I mean, I'm an open book. I've been doing this work for a while. And so I understood religion to be this container that you do as you're told. Don't do what you see. Don't do any of that. You do as you're told. And some of the stories I heard about, gospel revivals and all the things that went on and all this stuff. So it was like an oxymoron. It's like, if I'm going to live my life, I'm going to live my life, not according to anyone else's rules. And so as I evolved and grew and began to receive more wisdom and knowledge, it opened me up to understand true spirituality. And me going to the bar, dancing all night long, working out problems in my head, in my movement, in my thought, it all just resonated. And that was the transition. That was the point for me, from moving from religion to spirituality, because spirituality is all inclusive. Spirituality has no rules, spirituality has no boundaries. Though today, there are these invisible lines that people are starting to put up around spirituality. That's a topic for another day. I'm just here to share with you my personal story, my journey of how I got from A to B. And as I moved through the nights, through the dark night of the soul, I was introduced to Michael Beckwith's book, Spiritual Liberation. That book and Neil Donald Walsh's book, Conversations with God, those two books were the real turning points because I believe I was in my mid to late 20s when I discovered those books. So this was about approximately 5 to 7 year journey for me from religion to spirituality and understanding what religion was, moving through my liberation phase, my understanding, club would be in my church, letting everything go, leaving it on the dance floor, to finding myself. And I knew that I didn't fit in the container. I knew that I wasn't made for that, but I was made for the self expressive space to be of service to others, but I just didn't know how to do it. I knew that I was of service to people with my words, with my actions, with me just being me. And when you're in, at least for me, when I was going to church, when I was in deep with religion, with the church, it didn't feel comfortable. I had to be something that I wasn't. And moving through this transitional space, I began to find out who I really was, began to find myself being in a space of comfort, in a space of self acceptance. And what was fascinating in this journey, mm, I'm thinking if I should say this or not because I have it right here. I'm being got it. Yes, 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 yes. Um, I have a cousin or had a cousin who knew that I was gay. My family knows, everyone knows, And one time we met, he gave me a pamphlet, a book, and it was heart wrenching because he gave it to me in manila envelope. He said, "Do not open this until you get back home." And mind you, I was visiting another city, and they said, "Do not open this till you get home." So I get home, I open the manila envelope, and mind you, the cousin that gave it to me, there have been family rumors that he was gay also. Hmm. And the book, I don't remember what it said exactly, but it was something to the effect of it was like conversion therapy, essentially. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's a pamphlet for conversion therapy. I'm like, what the hell? And that really threw me for a loop because how are you going to give me something to this magnitude thinking it's going to help me when you don't know my story? And it hurt. It hurt deeply, you know? But I moved on, and it just helped me to see, know, and understand that in this space, that we all try to do the right thing. We always try to do the right thing. We always try to help others. That's what I do. That's my purpose, is to be of service to others. But if no one's asking for help, if no one's asking for advice, if no one's asking you to pitch in, then how can you help? How do you know how? How do you know how to help someone else if they're not asking for it? And that was a big lesson for me is I don't help unless I'm asked because it's encroachment, it's invasion, it's all these things. And that's part of what spirituality is. I mean, part of the biggest part for me about spirituality is really understanding how I live my life. How am I living my life by example for others? And the biggest tell for me, I was in my 30s at this point, mid 30s. And for a while, my mom didn't get who I was or what I was doing, especially after I moved to Brooklyn and I got my psychic mediumship certification. And my mom sent me a book, this giant, oversized book about the history of New York. I still have it. It's one of the last things that she ever gave me. And that's why I have it till this day. It will never leave my possession. Um, is that my mom and I had a very amazing conversation approximately a week, approximately 1 or 2 weeks before she made her transition. And my mom finally got who I was, just simply by me living my life. And that's what spirituality is. Spirituality is honoring yourself. Spirituality is coming home to you. Spirituality is going through all the muck, all the trauma, all the pain, all the suffering to endure the process of remembering who you are. And this is what spirituality is. It's not giving you a label to fit into a container that seems unattainable. And that's what religion did for me when I was going to church, being a gay black man, feeling unwanted in this space. Would say, come, welcome, come as you are. No. But granted, now there are spiritual religions and containers for that, for us, for our kind, for gay people, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's all this stuff. But it's still a container. Spirituality is a way of life, how you choose to live and how you honor yourself. And my journey from A to B has been 20 plus years. Wow. Wow. Actually, no, it's been 30 because I'll be 50 on Monday. I started this journey when I was 20 years old. And here I am, days away from turning 50. And I read a while ago, years ago, that the human brain does not fully mature until age 50. I'm sorry, human brain fully matures at age 25, but the human doesn't fully mature until age 50. So I'll be mature in a couple of days, y'all. But it's in this space of really understanding the journey of who you are. That's what spirituality is. It's the journey of self, journey of education. It's knowing you, not what a book of books says you are. A book of books can guide you, can grant you information, grant you wisdom that you haven't had before. It does that. So do all other books. There's hundreds and thousands of books about religion and spirituality, all these things. But the biggest book is the book of self. Once you go through the meditations, once you go through the practices, once you go through all of it, you begin to understand who you are. And my journey, you know, be it unpredictable. When I say unpredictable, well, yes, I did. I was going to say I didn't plan this, but I did. At the soul level, I planned this. And one of my favorite phrases that I've been saying lately is, you orchestrated all of this. This was your plan. This was your plan to remember who you are. Every trauma, every pain, every suffering, every death that you've experienced, everything you planned, you orchestrated. So you own it. And that's part of what being spiritual is, owning everything. There's nothing to hide, none of that. And I bare my soul to you, to those who are watching, and honor that path in which you walk. And that's the truth about spirituality. There's no container, there's no boundary, there's no book, except for the book that you have written for yourself. None of that exists. You live by example. You live as you are. You live who you are. You live for yourself. And sometimes it's just that simple. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. It's a little bit of my life, for I am Hillis. Till next week, beautiful souls. Who knows what's going to come up next week? But if you guys have a particular thing or theme or thing or subject you want me to talk about, put it in the comments below. We'll explore. Let's get to know me a little bit better. Till next time.